everyone, welcome to day one of our Stay at Home Yoga series. I'm Kennedy and I'm here today at Timber Ridge Chiropractic with Dr. Casey Batesel, who is currently physical or social distancing behind the camera. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and have a seat on your mat and we'll get started. So coming to a comfortable seat on your mat, whatever positioning you like, as long as you feel you can sit up nice and tall, go ahead and remove the flesh from underneath your sits bones, grounding into your mat. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down away from your ears, opening through the heart so the chest is forward and the shoulder blades are drawn gently back and down together. Hands can rest easy here on your knees or in your lap, and we're going to go ahead and take palms facing up today. And as you're doing this, you can allow your eyes to close or simply soften your gaze if that's better for you today. And tilting your chin until you feel it's parallel with the earth, and then imagining a long line of energy beginning at the base of your tailbone and traveling all the way up to the crown of your head. From here, we're going to go ahead and take 3 deep cleansing or clearing breaths together. So what we're going to do is inhale through the nose and then exhale through the mouth for a total of 3 counts. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and take a nice deep breath in through your nose. And exhale fully through your mouth with a sigh. And again, inhaling through your nose. And exhaling through your mouth. And one more time, nice big breath in through the nose. And exhale fully through the mouth. So taking a moment here just to center yourself and set aside anything that happened earlier today or anything you've got going on later. Doing your best to just let all of that go and settle into this present moment. We'll take a few breaths here together before moving on, taking some time to simply connect with your breath. And now beginning to scan your body, starting at the top of your head, moving down slowly to your neck, to your shoulders and chest, to your belly and back, through your hips, pelvis and groin, down your thighs, to your shins and calves, feet and toes, taking a mental note of anywhere you may be feeling tension, stress, or tightness, and where you're feeling openness, movement, and relaxation. Breathing slowly with control, intending for your inhales and exhales to be of equal length. As we continue to travel inward and scan our bodies, we'll be here for just a minute or two and I'll let you know when it's time to move on. On your next inhale, quietly setting an intention for your practice today. Whenever you're ready, allowing the eyes to open or refocusing your gaze. And we'll go ahead and get started with some movement. So we're going to begin today laying on our backs. So take your time getting there, and we'll all meet laying down on our mat. Okay, so making your way all the way down to your mat, bending your knees and keeping your feet planted on your mat for now, about hip distance apart. Keeping the chin slightly tucked here just to keep the back of the neck nice and long. And gently pressing your low back into your mat, fully connecting. From here, go ahead and heel toe your feet in so the legs are touching. Take a nice deep breath in. And then as you exhale, opening the knees out wide and bringing the soles of the feet to touch in center here. Finding a Supta Baddha Konasana or a reclined cobbler's pose. So just opening up here through the inner thighs and the groin muscles. Eyes can be open or closed, your choice. And you have the option to bring your hands to your low belly, continuing to connect with your breath. They can also simply lay down by your sides, Shavasana style, or if you're looking for an added chest stretch, you can also bring them up overhead in a diamond shape. And then whenever you're ready to release, go ahead and bring your hands to your outer thighs and gently draw the knees back in together, and then hug the knees in toward your chest. Give them a nice pull inward here. And then we're going to come to a supine or reclined tabletop position. So go ahead and keep the knees bent, but bring them in line with your hips and flex the feet so they're facing the wall in front of you. So soles of the feet face the wall in front of you. Bringing your hands to the tops of your knees, and we're just going to begin making some circles here with the legs. So drawing the knees in as we go in, and pushing them out as we go out. And it doesn't matter which direction you're going right now because we are going to go both ways. Just massaging through the lumbar spine or the low back here a bit, warming that up. And then whenever you're ready, go ahead and change directions. And then making your way back to center, drawing the knees back in toward the chest once again. And this time, go ahead and bring your hands back behind your knees. And we're going to do a little rocking and rolling just to continue massaging and warming up through the back body and the spine here. So go ahead and gather some momentum as you begin to round and rock back. And then coming forward, either balancing on the sits bones or bringing your feet down to a seated position if that's better for you. And then go ahead and round through the spine, rock back again, and come forward. And we're just going to continue to do that a few more times here. So moving at your own pace, following your breath. And then next time you rock forward, go ahead and come to a standing position, and we'll meet in an Uttanasana or a standing forward fold. So finding your standing forward fold here, feet are about hip distance apart, toes are facing forward, and you're keeping a slight bend in the knees here just to protect the backs of the legs, so your hamstrings and your lower glute muscles. Upper body is just hanging out, so you should feel a nice release happening through the back body right now, through the torso. And maybe give your head a gentle shake, yes and no. Just releasing any tension you may be holding there. Taking a few breaths here together. Stretching through those hamstrings. From here, staying in our standing forward fold, our Uttanasana, we're going to go ahead and heel toe our feet out just 1 or 2 times, bringing them about shoulder distance apart, so wider than hip distance. And then bend your knees a little bit deeper here, allowing your belly to rest on your thighs. Upper body is still super heavy, so we're not holding any stress or tension there. We're just hanging out. And then go ahead and grab a hold of opposite elbows for our ragdoll variation. So here in your ragdoll, you have the option to either stay here in stillness, or you can choose to sway from side to side if that feels good for you. So just taking whichever option feels best for you and your body today. If you chose to sway from side to side, go ahead and begin to make your way back to center, finding stillness. And then from here, just allowing the arms to drop with a thud. And we're going to carefully begin to round ourselves up 1 vertebrae at a time, coming up to a standing position. You want your head to be the last thing to come up here. Once you've made it to standing at the top of your mat, go ahead and heel toe your feet back into about hip distance apart, and we'll find a Tadasana mountain pose. So finding your mountain, feet hip distance apart, toes are facing forward, and go ahead just to find our grounding here, lift your toes. So we're really bringing emphasis to pressing into all 4 corners of the feet as we do this. And then go ahead and set the toes down. And then we're going to do that 1 more time. Lift the toes up, pressing into all 4 corners of your feet, finding that grounding, finding that balance here. And then go ahead and set the toes back down again. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down away from your ears, standing up nice and tall. Chin tilted so it feels parallel with the earth. The gaze is forward. And all we're going to do here is take 1 deep clearing or cleansing breath together. So whenever you're ready to, go ahead, take a nice big breath in through your nose. And then exhale fully through your mouth with a sigh. Really letting it out here. And then from here, we're going to reverse that roll. So we're going to begin to tuck our chins and begin to round forward, returning to that Uttanasana, or that standing forward fold position. Going nice and slow here with control. Maybe even a little slower than you want to go. And then once you've made it to your standing forward fold, begin to bend your knees so deeply that you come to sit down on your mat. From here, we're going to find a comfortable seat or a Sukhasana easy pose. And I'm just going to turn so you can see what I'm doing here. So to come into your Sukhasana easy pose, you're going to sit with your legs crossed. But rather than sitting on the ankles like many of us do, and that's kind of uncomfortable after a while, we're simply going to bring one foot in front of the other. Doesn't matter which one for right now. So go ahead and find that if it's accessible to you. Otherwise, coming to whatever comfortable position is better for you. So removing the flesh from under your sits bones once again. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down away from the ears, sitting up nice and tall, long spine. Bringing your hands to either your knees or your lap with the palms facing up. Chin tilted until you feel it's parallel with the earth, and maybe allowing the eyes to close here if you like. We're just going to take a moment of mindfulness here. So just checking in and seeing how we're doing now compared at the beginning of our practice today. So checking in with ourselves physically, emotionally, and mentally. We'll be here for a few more breaths. Two more breaths here. And if you chose to close your eyes for this, on your next inhale, go ahead and allow them to open once more. And we're going to transition back onto our backs, but before we do that, let's go ahead and work on our posture a bit. So go ahead and sitting on your mat, on your sits bones, extend your legs all the way out. And then gently flexing the feet just to engage through the leg muscles here. Removing the flesh from under the sits bones once again, just to reground and clarify that foundation. Roll your shoulders back, sitting nice and tall. And you have the option here to either have your hands down by your sides in line with your hips, or if that's not accessible to you, you can bring them to your thighs as well. So whatever is best for you, go ahead and do that. And then this is called Dandasana or staff pose. And it's one of those postures that doesn't look like a whole lot, but it can feel like a whole lot because in our modern culture today, we don't practice sitting up tall and straight very often. So if you're at home right now and you feel like you're kind of rounding back or this is really uncomfortable for you, just know that you're not alone and we're not going to be here forever. So just taking a few breaths here. Practicing sitting tall, working on our posture. And then from here, on your next inhale, go ahead and bring your arms out in front of you. And using your core muscles as you exhale, begin to hinge back with control, slower than you want to go, engaging through that core. We're gonna meet laying down on our backs. So once you've made it down to your back, we're going to keep the left leg extended out with a gentle flex of the foot. It doesn't need to be a super hard flex, just engaging through those muscles a bit. And then go ahead and use your core strength to hug your right knee in toward your chest. Just opening up through the back of that hip a bit here. And then option on your next exhale to go ahead and open that knee out more so toward the armpit now, just changing up that sensation. Still working on the back of that right hip. And then bringing it back to center whenever you're ready. And then extend your right leg out, and we'll take that to the other side. So using your core strength, hug that left knee in. Giving it a nice hug in toward the chest here. And then on your next exhale, option once again to draw the knee more so in toward the armpit. So just opening up through that leg a little bit here, changing up that sensation now for the left hip. Whenever you're ready, coming back to center, giving the knee one more hug in, and then extend that leg all the way out. And then from here, we're going to bend through the knees, bringing the soles of our feet down to our mat, and walking our heels back as comfortably as we possibly can, as close to our butt as possible. So feet and knees are about hip distance apart, the toes are facing forward. Go ahead and bring your arms down by your sides with the palms facing down, spread those fingers nice and wide, and then press your shoulders into your shoulder blades into the mat here, just puffing out through the chest slightly. Chin is slightly tucked, keeping the back of the neck or the cervical spine nice and long here. What we're setting up for is a Setu Bandhasana or a bridge pose. So being mindful of your gaze, try not to turn your head once we get into this. However, if this is something you've never done before, please watch before going into it. So whenever you're ready, on your next inhale, go ahead and push your hips, your pelvis up toward the ceiling here. So your gaze is toward your navel. And what we're doing is stretching through the hip flexors. And we're also strengthening a bit through the glutes and the hamstrings. If you're a little more open through the chest, you also have the option to gently rock from side to side on the shoulder blades and clasp your hands underneath you, finding a yoga mudra option with the arms. However, if you come into this and you're struggling to keep your arms straight, go ahead and release from that and just bring your arms down by your sides as they were with the palms facing down. So just taking a few breaths here. Breathing nice and big through the belly. on your next exhale, releasing the hands if you took that Yoga Mudra arm option, and slowly lowering down all the way to your mat. And then once you've made contact, go ahead and hug your knees in toward your chest once again. Give them a nice pull in. And then option here to stay in stillness or gently rock from side to side, just massaging through that lumbar spine or your low back a bit here. You should feel pretty good after that bridge pose. And then if you chose to rock from side to side, go ahead and make your way back to center, finding stillness. And release from the pose, extending the legs all the way out. Bringing your feet about mat distance apart, allowing the toes to splay out to the sides here. Arms can lay heavy by your sides with the palms facing up. Letting go of any intentional or deep breathing you may have had going on throughout this practice today. So just allowing the breath to come naturally now. Closing the eyes if you haven't already. We'll be here for about 5 minutes and I'll let you know when it's time to get up. Beginning to wiggle the fingers and toes, bringing sensation and awareness back to your body. Whenever you're ready, gently rolling onto one side, just whichever side feels most open for you today. And then pausing for a moment in a fetal position. From here, gently pressing yourself up and returning to a comfortable seat. And then once you've made it there, bringing your hands to your heart, finding Anjali Mudra, bowing the head slightly, and we'll all seal it in together with a namaste.